This is Kate Kruger, and I'm talking guns, again in front of the camera. I know that that's pretty frightening for all of you out there, but it's more frightening for me because I'm used to being behind the mic. But today, not so much. Now, I'm really excited about this interview, and it's mostly because it is new technology, but it's going to impact guns, or maybe it's going to help save the gun industry. I'm kind of flipping a coin here on that. But I have with us Patricia Huff, and she's the Director of Marketing for Gunbroker. And when I saw the invite to do an interview, I grabbed at it. I was very excited about it because I want to learn more how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is going to play in the gun industry. I think most of us all know that the banks are putting the squeeze play on us, and that this could be our salvation. But is it voodoo? And here that's going to answer that is going to be Cameron Chell. Chell?
Yes.
He is the co-founder and Vice Chairman of BitRail and ICOX Innovations. And it's a collaboration, a partnership between Gunbroker and yourself. And they're going to try and make a simple transaction for people to buy a gun on Gunbroker, bypass the banks, and have cash turn into Bitcoin, and then at the other end turn back into cash.
So the coin is actually called Freedom Coin.
Freedom Coin.
Freedom Coin, and it's on the BitRail platform. BitRail platform, Freedom Coin. Freedom Coin is the currency. BitRail is the blockchain platform.
BitRail platform. Okay, so you're going to educate me. All right, so you take it from there. I did my mumbo jumbo because that's as much as I know. And now you two are going to educate me. How's that?
Well, so first let me tell you a little bit about what we're trying to do with Freedom Coin. Freedom Coin is going to be a payment platform, blockchain-based currency, stablecoin, that will make transactions very simple and very secure on gunbroker.com. And we're very excited about this partnership with BitRail.
And so what we've been able to accomplish, in particular with this partnership, is to provide Gunbroker the opportunity to launch a payment coin that can act as an alternative to a Visa, a MasterCard, a PayPal, or a Venmo, or even checks or money orders. So if anybody has had the opportunity to use a Venmo or a PayPal, it will literally, what we think, be a much better user experience than that. You're not going to have to enter in 16-bit, encryption codes. It's basically, I want to get paid, or I want to pay using a Freedom Coin, as opposed to, trying to put it through a PayPal. But to be clear, we're not trying to circumnavigate or circumvent the banking system. Okay. One of the features that's really important Freedom Coin and Gunbroker has been insistent on, and it's part of our philosophy as well, is that everything that we're building is regulatory compliant. And we think that's important not just for the banking industry and the adoption of the coin, but I think it's important for the firearm industry too, to help demonstrate that, hey, we're not trying to subvert good gun owners owning firearms that is a constitutional right. We're actually trying to do it in a way that works within the existing laws.
You said something that keyed my interest here. You said you're not bypassing banks, which is fine, I understand that, but that you're going to follow the regulatory. But as a gun store owner, when you follow the regulatory, they are putting the squeeze on companies that they consider at-risk businesses or high-risk businesses, and they consider the firearms industry high risk. So if you're following the regulatory, are we not going to feel the same type of pinch?
Well, so your Freedom Coin account through BitRail, your Freedom Coin account will link to your bank account. But the Freedom Coin system is exclusive to the transaction. It's not going directly through the bank. So the banks won't really have any say on how Freedom Coin is transacted.
Or who you're transacting with.
Right.
That sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting.
So one of the things that's very important to the banking industry, we hear a lot in the firearms industry. I certainly hear a lot about background checks, and Gunbroker and the industry have a very simplified and elegant and thorough system to ensure that those background
Works every
checks.
time.
It's amazing. And so we've integrated the banking checks that are required into that system. So the things that the banking or the financial industry is really interested in are something called KYC, so know your client rules, AML, which is anti-money laundering rules, OFAC and SDN, which are both rules that regulate either nationals or foreign nationals or individuals to ensure that they're not people on designated lists that should not be doing anything in the banking industry or the firearm industry. So it's not going to affect good gun owners, but it's actually going to help protect the industry to ensure and demonstrate that this industry is acting responsible and that its gun owners are people that are responsible.
Right.
And so from what we have found so far is that there's certainly a political agenda out there to restrict firearms, but from a pure financial and consumer perspective, if we can continue or help work and demonstrate that things are working within the regulations that have been set up, we, thus far anyways, have been met with relatively open arms in the banking industry.
The banking industry, though, keys on names. The firearm company, gun store, Guns Are Us, guns, all of those, they key on the names, and that's how they put the pinch on companies. PayPal does the same thing. If you go person to person, PayPal doesn't notice. But if you go person to company, and there's a gun name in it, that's when they start the transaction. So how is this going to prevent that from happening? Because the transactions are going to be 75% of the time from a person to paying a gun store.
So the transaction happens with Freedom Coin opposed to the transaction happening with the bank.
So you're not going to pay attention to the names.
No.
Okay.
Well, we're out of the gate. We're built for the firearm industry.
Right.
Okay.
So those names are welcome to us. In fact, something that at least initially outside of the firearm industry would likely, for sure, would raise a flag within our system. Why is not targeted is the wrong word, but why is there somebody outside of the industry that we're focused in wanting to transact in Freedom Coin? That would raise a flag for us, as opposed to a seller who's passed the KYC and the AML and the background, or a known gun shop or a known wallet holder or account holder, on Gunbroker. Those are welcome. That's exactly who we're wanting to work with and service.
And everything else in Gunbroker is going to work the same.
That's
so
right.
say if my friend Josh wants to buy a gun and Josh is selling it, he can still buy it, but the rule is it must go through an FFL.
That's correct.
So everything remains the same around it. It's just the manner of payment.
That's right. So everything will continue to be federally, state, and locally compliant through an FFL. Exactly the same rules. The data collected for a registered user at Gunbroker is the same data that's collected for a Freedom Coin account. Mm-hmm. So nothing compliance-wise will change.
And if I can just jump in, I'm sorry, people aren't required to use the Freedom Coin. It's an option. So they can still...
I understand.
Oh, yeah, okay.
That I understand. Yeah. But how do we know the Freedom Coin is secure?
So every Freedom Coin is backed by a US dollar. So it just like if you were to populate a PayPal account or a Venmo account, a dollar in, right, represents one coin that is now in your wallet that's housed on BitRail on behalf of Gunbroker.
Right.
So it's not a floating currency. It's a dollar in, dollar out scenario.
And it's a stable coin. So unlike a Bitcoin or an Ethereum that's very volatile, it's stable. It's a utility token.
I guess the other question is, what type of fees are going to be engaged in the Freedom Coin? Is it going to save the folks out there who are buyers, money by utilizing Freedom Coin, more so than using the PayPal or anything else?
So it'll save buyers money in that the seller transactions where they're asking for a money order or a cashier's check, which is very expensive, it'll save them the time and hassle of having to get something like that. On the seller side, sellers particularly who are taking credit cards, the transaction fees will be about half what
So
credit
instead
card
of 2.5%, 3% or 4%, it'll be whatever, about
right.
50%.
That's right. It'll be a lot less than the credit card transactions. And for those buyers who are having to accept money orders or personal checks, they won't have to worry about the money order being fake or the check bouncing. So it provides both security and cost effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think both sides will be very happy about it.
Yeah, it is. As a gun store owner, I had a big folder full of fake
That's right.
checks, and I had over $15,000 worth of them in there.
Wow.
The good news is I was always smart enough to either check them or wait until they cleared before I gave any equipment away. But about $15,000 worth of fake
Yeah.
checks. It's amazing. So we've got me sold.
Well,
The
let's
question
go on
is,
our way then.
the question is, do you have everybody else sold, and how is it being received?
So far we've got a lot of very positive feedback. I think people are very excited about having a new way to transact that's easier and cheaper than the current methods available. So we've gotten, at this point, 100% positive feedback.
So I can safely tell people that this isn't voodoo magic.
Not voodoo magic.
Not voodoo magic, and that it's going to be secure, and that it is the new wave of credit cards.
Yeah, so
way back when we started credit cards, I know my mother never wanted a credit card. That was too scary. There was no money. What's this piece of plastic? And by the time she passed away, she had about 3 cards, and she was, very, very tight with it. But she had them. She caved in and got them. So this is kind of that next generation, that new evolution.
That's right. That's right. So change can be daunting sometimes, but we really believe that Freedom Coin is going to revolutionize the industry and is absolutely the wave of the future.
How you doing in the stock market?
Yeah, I think we're in a good spot. One of the reasons that ICOX actually is a public company, and one of the reasons that we're a public company is very simply is we wanted to have a higher level of regulation and transparency that we were going to have to be accountable to. So we built other coins. We built the Kodak coin, which is a large New York stock-based company. Lots of people have heard of them. And so we've gone through, and Gunbroker is a very well-established, reputable company. So the diligence that they put on us in order to partner to provide this to their key customers has been intense, and we welcome it. And so we're excited for the opportunity to work with them and hopefully really help out this industry.
I'll tell you, I've enjoyed this interview. I've learned a lot. I was excited before you guys came in here. I think I'm even a little more excited now. So I'm looking forward to it and seeing where it goes. I want to thank you both for taking the time and coming up here. I really appreciate it.
Thanks so much for having us.
Oh,
it's a pleasure.
my pleasure, absolutely. And thanks very much. We're going to see you on another video later on, and hopefully I don't break the camera before then. You guys take care. Thanks.